Good morning, good afternoon, or indeed good evening, and welcome to Pit Road Productions. Or indeed, if you're watching on Swellio's channel, a huge welcome to you there as well. We are here for Season 4, ladies and gentlemen, of the Almeida Racing League, and this time around, the top split is going to be taking on another new set of machinery, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be the Formula 3 car, but let's get a little bit more into the season in just a minute. Let's do some introductions. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Daniel Zippy Salmon, and joining me in the commentary booth is going to be the one, the only, Mr. Richard Swindells, who appears to be absolutely deep inside the Matrix at this point. Gotta say, fair play to him. That's definitely not a PRP campus, but he's made an appearance nonetheless, albeit from the shadow realm. And not only that, we have Mr. Rob the Goatee Campbell working on the production controls as well. Huge thanks to Rob there. But Richard, I gotta say, you were up bright and early on your standards for a Saturday. Certainly, I think there may have been a football game yesterday that you're currently recovering from. Ladies and gentlemen, please forgive him for that. I know it's not even football; they throw the ball, but he's here anyway. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen. But Rich, certainly Formula 4 at Montreal. Tell us a couple of thoughts you've got for that track before we get into sorting out the schedule and indeed the format for today's events.
Well, these are going to be the faster Formula 4 cars, Zippy. They're the Formula 3 cars. I absolutely love Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and it's a great combo. Something I've run several times in different league races, albeit not at the level these guys are at. Should be some exciting racing. Lots of straightaways, lots of chicanes. Though you got the Wall of Champions, we're going to have some good close battling today.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it in the Formula 3s, ladies and gentlemen. I've been getting that mixed up the entire time, and I know Richard is not going to miss a chance to absolutely just rub my nose in it. Fair play to him. I would have took the same thing. But Rob, if you could do the honor, sir, let's take a quick look at the schedule. Let's see where we're going to be going. So we're going to start off in Montreal before we head to a personal favourite of mine of Spa. Round 3 takes us to Sebring. I know Rob's definitely got a lot of love lost for that track before round 4 takes us about halfway through the season for Fuji. Round 5 will have us at Algarve, with round 6 being Zandvoort, home of the Dutch Grand Prix, I believe. With round 7, a very good track actually for these cars, I'd say, Road America. But I believe, Rich, you managed to catch up with the race format for today's event.
Yeah, today's race format, they've got a 60-minute practice session, and followed by where we're in right now is the 15-minute open qualifying. Then we have 3 different races. Heat race 1, 15 minutes long, followed by heat race 2, 15 minutes with a randomized invert. The feature race today, 20 minutes long. Grid is set by heat 2. There's no faster pairs, and it's a fixed setup.
Well, definitely going to be a good one indeed, and certainly it's going to be interesting to see how the drivers handle these cars. We've seen them in open wheelers before, ladies and gentlemen, albeit it has been the Formula 1600. That's obviously, not only is it down about 400cc, it doesn't have any aerodynamics nonetheless, so this is going to be a very different set of challenges indeed. I mean, myself, I've driven the Formula 4. This is intentional, Richard. I've driven the Formula 4, but I haven't spent any time in the Formula 3, certainly. A little bit more higher class car, you could say, and definitely out of my skill level for sure. Certainly Montreal, definitely one of the tracks where I'm not so familiar, albeit a good couple of people would have gone to the Canadian Grand Prix just I'd say that's probably about a month ago, guys, maybe just a little bit less there. By all means, those of you more inclined, by all means, roast me for my lack of expertise there. As we already have Canadian Cutting Edge going, good morning everyone, let's go racing, go Cairo, go Team Brad, certainly a regular here tuning in on the Pit Road production side. Thank you very much, Canadian Cutting Edge. But I gotta say, Richard, for qualifying here, it's an open quali. If you're thinking what I'm thinking in terms of some strategy for this qualifying session.
Yeah, I think key is getting yourself in draft range, going down the long straight after the hairpin, and leading into the Wall of Champions. You really need to take advantage of that draft that you're going to get in these Formula 3 cars with that nice long straightaway. At the same time, you don't want to get too much caught up into a little bit of aero wash around some of these chicanes, although the Formula 3 car seems to handle it quite well based on my past experience.
There you go, there is Richard's expert opinion. And I gotta say, I just did have a little bit of an old moment there. So if we go for a different camera angle, the one you were going above just a second ago, Richard there, Richard Rob, I'm so sorry. If you have a look there, you can see there's like a little aerial on the front of the car. There's 2 of them. Well, that one at the front of the car, I have to admit, I literally just thought I had a fly on my screen, ladies and gentlemen. I had a bit of a senior moment and tried to wipe it off. So you can see how often I've driven the Formula 3, but certainly these guys definitely a lot more potent and a lot quicker. Right now, Vijay Rajasakaran is currently sitting on that top spot in the number 12 car with a 130.954.
Yeah, Vijay's got himself a decent gap to second and third place, almost 4/10, Zippy. That's pretty impressive on a track of this length. Nice job by VJ.
Yeah, absolutely good stuff. Good stuff indeed. See, his paint's actually now working as well. He's in Team Blue, ladies and gentlemen. So, quick reminder, anybody who is racing in this league does indeed need to have a team paint selected. And for this season, is back to being teams chosen by the staff, ladies and gentlemen. So, it is indeed a team championship as well. I'm very much looking forward to it. And right now, it looks like Team Black is actually doing quite well. They've got 3 drivers in the top 6. That's about half of the field there. Well, half of the top 6, you get what I'm saying. Obviously, fractions and math. It's a Saturday morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you may be, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, Zippy Math is still as good as it's ever been, ladies and gentlemen, if not a little bit worse. But we can see multiple drivers. Actually, a lot of new names in here as well, and a lot of familiar names. Certainly, VJ Rajasakaran we've seen before. Anthony and NASA, definitely seen him. Garrett Allen, probably one of the most unlucky drivers I've seen in a long while. Adam Mika making a return here. Mahid Rahman, Andrew Calabrese. But if we have a look as well, let's have a look at some new names we've got in here. Declan Marsden, that's certainly not one I'm familiar with. Marco Chacon, definitely don't recognize that name here. Branton Hung. Amin Alishahi, he's making a join here in the Almeida Racing League. And if you're wondering why do we see so many of these new names, well, these guys did have to qualify to get into this top split. Your iRating makes absolutely no difference, ladies and gentlemen. And if I have a quick look at the iRating, there's actually a 1700 iRating driver that's made this split. And if I exclude the coaches, just give me a second here. It's fair to say about 4,000 iRating if you exclude the coaches, ladies and gentlemen. So there's definitely some very potent drivers, and I've got to say, fair play to Sean Haggerty for making it into this top split.
Yeah, it just goes to show you, iRating is a measure of where you finish in your official races, but it doesn't necessarily mean, whoa, a little big wreck here in qualifying. We've got cars on their lids flipping upside down, and it's just continuing to go on in chaos.
You see, this is the beautiful thing about being a broadcaster, ladies and gentlemen. In a qualifying scenario, that would be absolutely traumatizing if you're on a hot lap. We don't have a car in the game at this point. We don't have like a horse in this race. So for us, it's absolutely beautiful entertainment. So chaos, panic, and disorder, ladies and gentlemen. You know, it's a double-edged sword. We tend to get the more enjoyment factor of it, and the drivers, maybe not so much. It depends on the scenario, but... yeah, I have a feeling, speaking of chaos, Rob, oh, I'm so sorry, Rob. Richard. Richard. There is a slang name for Richard in the UK, but I'm not going to say it on stream, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly our UK viewers will definitely get that one, and indeed that may be the case. I mean, we'll work that out. I do love him dearly, though. But
Mr.
Richard, yeah, that's exactly right. I have to say that. How much chaos and panic do you think we're going to get in the starting races here at the Montreal Grand Prix circuit?
Well, this is only my second broadcast of Almeida Racing League here, and I think really, Zippy, we're going to see a little bit, but not too much. These drivers know what it's all about. Although they want to push forwards, they also want to finish, and they also want to be invited back and have some good performance tonight. I really love the F3. I raced it for several seasons in various leagues. I think it's a great track combo with this car. We watch Matthias Kuhn coming around the little chicane leading up into the hairpin. Just a fabulous, fabulous track. Look at the scenery you've got on the island here. I believe it's all infill and reclaimed land. Beautiful, beautiful look here from this camera angle.
Yeah, definitely. So actually, Rob was saying that he's got some really hot camera angles for this track, so I'm definitely looking forward to it indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, if you've ever been to Montreal, it's a beautiful city in its own right. I have had the pleasure of going there. Certainly, I used to live out in Ottawa, which is about an hour away, ladies and gentlemen. You see a little bit of a tech slapper going on there from the driver of the Team Black vehicle there. But Montreal, beautiful place. And honestly, if I think about Montreal, some people think about, scenery, some people think about food, and it's fair to say anybody who I've met who's been from Ottawa, literally my first question is, do you know what Broadway's is, and have you had that breakfast? Which, realistically, I think I'm going to have to get them to sponsor the stream, ladies and gentlemen. I've been craving their breakfast for, ever since I got back, ladies and gentlemen, and it's fair to say, yeah, it's all about the hash browns, but certainly I did have the pleasure, actually, this weekend just gone. I had the honor, even, of getting to commentate the Super Production Challenge, which is probably one of the biggest road racing leagues, real road racing series here in Canada. and we had a field of about 50. We had about 80 cars come down into over to Nova Scotia here to Atlantic Motorsport Park, the biggest event we've had there since 1985, and I got to commentate, ladies and gentlemen, and so a couple of the drivers were indeed from Montreal. Indeed, I did get to meet somebody called Clovis Gerard, actually, who I've raced with. Actually, Richard, you've raced with Clovis as well over on BIS. Actually, Swellier would have raced with Clovis as well, I'm sure. And you know, I got the pleasure of meeting him in person, and I can say as well, it was great. It was a pleasure to see him come down there, and the guy is actually about a foot taller than you expected. But Montreal as well, definitely some fond memories there. We've got another couple of people I know from Montreal, actually part of the Top Gun Racing iRacing team back when I was doing endurance races and that. A guy called Maverick, that's what we call him, and he actually came and meet me at my work when he was on holiday with his family. And yeah, no, just some fond memories of Montreal, ladies and gentlemen, but certainly not the traffic there. Nah, you can leave that. Stick to a racetrack.
Well, yeah, I've got in my part-time side gig. I have an office in Montreal, and I was up there the week before the Grand Prix. I'm up there quite frequently, and getting on and off the island can be a little bit cumbersome as we follow along here, watching the drivers complete up their qualifying efforts. We're 13 minutes. There's only 15 minutes here. One interesting thing about this track, Zippy, that turn 1-2 combo. Turn 2, basically the exit of turn 2 rides you right out onto pit exit. Fortunately here, no pit stops required in the Almeida Racing League today.
Yeah, definitely not. There is going to be some endurance rounds in round 2 and indeed round 7, ladies and gentlemen, where the format will indeed change up a little bit there. We'll get more into that as we get nearer to it, as it looks like we can see the intake in the top left of that one there, so definitely a very aggressive camera. But I got to admit, I am loving the paint job here today as well. Speaking of which, we are on, camera bug indeed. But we are actually on board here with the crowd favourite, which is Leon Bentbelsen. As I say that though, his cheerleading squad actually a little bit quiet today, so I'm actually going to call out the Bentbelsen cheerleading squad, the Netherlands team there, and say, where are you? As we see bits of rubber flying off the track. Now, with this being a heat-based format, it is indeed going to be a hard cut-off there at the 15-minute mark. So right now, these drivers are literally putting in their last laps. You can see Vijay Rajasakaran, the Team Blue driver, in the number 12. He's currently rocking the number 1 spot. We've seen him in a couple of races before. He has had actually his debut round. He did have a very unfortunate start. Had a technical issue on the start grid of Brands Hatch, I believe. No, it wasn't Brands Hatch. Alton Park. My apologies. Alton Park gets a little bit loose there. And absolute chaos, panic, and disorder. But I'm hoping he can have a better season this time around, especially this man as well. Garrett Lund, certainly, he is rocking the best team colour, ladies and gentlemen, the British Racing Green in that number 30. But he's been very unfortunate getting caught up in incidents. I'm hoping he can have a clean race.
Yeah, that's. I know British Racing Green is your favorite color, but you've got a little biased opinion, which I think is wrong. But we will just leave it at that, Zippy, as we go over the 15-minute qualifying and the hard cutoff, and the cars all disappear off the track.
Yeah, definitely. At times, you guys, I'm sure, wish I would disappear, ladies and gentlemen. But that has been some good news. And I've got to say, it's an incredible grid here today. But let's start at the top of the food chain, ladies and gentlemen. The Palestine driver, Mr. Vijay Rajasakaran, is going to be in P1 alongside Anthony Lanassa. Garrett Lund will be on the second row alongside Declan Marsden, the UK driver. As we have a look at P5 with Adam Mika and Brenton Young in P6. Mahid Rahman takes 7th with Marco Chacon in 8th. Team Raccoon Racing. That's awesome. P9 us Andrew Calabresi with Matthias Kuhn closing out your top 10.
Yeah, then in 11th we have Mikhail Prechak, followed in 12th by Cairo Enns. 13th we've got Coach Sammy Hendricks, followed in 14th by Amin Alishai. 15th we've got Martin Visser, followed by John Marandini. Then we have John Janchik, followed by Leon Bentbelsen. In 19th we have Sean Haggerty, followed in 20th by Simon Collier.
As we have a look at 21st, ladies and gentlemen, Fernando Afonso has indeed made a return, a Brazilian driver, with Joel Singleton in 22nd. Brian Lenz takes 23rd with Kevin Adrian in 24th. Making our way further down the grid, ladies and gentlemen, in 25th, we have Abdul Rahman Mahmoud is alongside Yifan Chow with Jan Schreiner Miguel in 27th. And then we have the coaches, ladies and gentlemen, Kane Halliburton, Hayden Bramley, and Connor Bell closing out your 30-car grid. Actually, I believe Bramley, he is a coach. I believe he's a novice coach. He may be entered in here under Team Black. I'm not entirely sure on that one. Certainly, they used to have the novice coaches under under the gold colours, but I'm not too sure this season. Certainly Sammy Hendricks, one of those coaches as well. But I've got a feeling we're going to get a standing start here, ladies and gentlemen. This could be very interesting indeed. Certainly that camera angle is going to be a battle. Yep, we're going to go for a standing start. Richard, buckle up, hold on. Pull the harnesses down and put your trays in the upright position as we're getting ready to go bright green here in Montreal. And we are indeed away. It's going to be Brandon Sackerman. He's going to lead the sprint down to turn 1. You already see 3 wide, 4 wide in places as they're making it down the way down to turn 1 and turn 2. Single file at the front of the pack with multiple cars going 2 by 2. Are they going to be able to get it into single file before they head down into the chicane?
Yeah, going down into the turn 3-4 complex into the chicane. Looks like everybody's arranged to back up in single file. Nicely done, drivers. Vijay Rajasakaran into a great early start and a nice lead to go off.
Exactly what you want to do, ladies and gentlemen. You want to try and get into that lead as quickly as you can and indeed hold it as we're having a look a bit further back through the field as well. We're on board with Garrett Lund now. He's currently running in P3. He's got about a 1.3 second gap behind him. This is a good opportunity for Garrett Lund to try and get some points. Could this be the start of the season that he's been looking for? As he's gone a little bit wide. Cold tyres, ladies and gentlemen. Cold tyres. The number 30 car goes a little bit wide and that has absolutely compromised his race. His teammate there, Branson Hung, able to get a run on him. And it's fair play to say Lund is going to let that one go as he's now under attack from Adam Mika in the number 16.
Yeah, as we watch the drivers come around into the hairpin going 2 wide, 2 by 2 through the very technical right-hander, and it looks like people getting through clean. A little bit of bunching up, a little bit of tire smoke back there with some brakes locking up, but it looks like everybody's survived thus far.
Yeah, so far everybody does indeed survive. I say that, the number 18 of Abdul Rahman Mahmood, he's currently having a meatball flag, currently shown as in P30, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, the hard charger available. Kane Halliburton already up an incredible 8 spots, as is Connor Bell. As I say that, Halliburton's dropped back to 7 spots now, as we see Yan Cheek coming into the pits. I believe he was missing a front wing, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah,
that's rather unfortunate. The finishing off late. We'll take a look at the replay, see what Rob's got in store for us here.
Oh! That's Halliburton.
Yeah, that's the very tough section with the chicane leading into the Wall of Champions, that final straightaway of Circuit Gilles Villeneuve.
Yeah, it looks like yeah, that was involving Joel Singleton and Kane Halliburton there. Looked like a little bit of contact. Looks like Connor Bell has picked up a meatball flag as well. So certainly the coaches are going to indeed have a lot of work to do in this one, as we're going to have a look, find some more battles for you, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Nasser currently sitting in P2. He's got a bit of a lead there. Could you see the slide there from Adam Mika? And he's got a good run there. He's making a move there on Brenton Young. Can he get the move done? They're going to be side by side as they head down into the hairpin, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be Mika on the outside. Is it going to be beneficial for him? These guys almost touching wheels there, so incredibly close. And there's a teammate behind, Marco Chacon. Can he capitalize on this? You see Adam Mika trying to make a move up on the outside.
Yeah, you definitely want to be on that inside line going through that hairpin. That opens it up for a very long straightaway here, going into the final straight, leading into the final chicane. Good close battling. We've got cars on the inside trying to make a move on the outside, but the outside is not the preferred line. You're going to have to give that position up. Brandon Hung holds on for now.
Yeah, Brandon Young did indeed manage to hold on, but it looks like Adam Mika was a little bit compromised there, and now he's going to be under attack from Marco Chacon, a new driver here to the Almeida Racing League, certainly in the top split. A huge warm welcome to him in the number 11. Now, what can Brandon Young do to try and help his teammate, or is there going to be any team tactics? Indeed, right now, Team Green looking pretty good with 3, 4, 6, and 7. Certainly got a couple of cars in the top 10, as it looks like Sammy Hendricks is falling back through the order.
Yeah, Sammy Hendricks not having the race he's looking for. Let's see if we can pick it up and see what happened to him here. Don't see a whole lot going on. Oh, a little off onto the grass. Oh, there we go. Get a little 2 tires off onto the grass, and that's not a place to get any grip.
Yeah, certainly traction is indeed a little bit less available, certainly if you put wheels in the grass. Not that I would know, ladies and gentlemen. I never do such things. I just go straight for the wall instead. We've got another replay here with Brian Lenz. Let's find out what happened to the American driver rocking that number 32 car. You can see him there up, trying to make a move on the inside. Locks up a little bit, potentially under brake, and gets, a little bit too close. Has a little bit of a nudge there and gets caught up with the Team Red car. Definitely not the move they were looking for. The Red sustaining a little bit of a heavier damage there. That rear wing, it's fair to say, has left the chat. And there's going to be a meatball flag potentially there for that driver. I believe it might be Abdul Rahman Mahmood in the number 18. Oh, it's Jan Miguel, my apologies, in the number 15.
Yeah, once that rear wing's gone, your race is over. He's going to be looking forward to the second race and see what happens there. We'll pick it up with Mahi Rahman. He's got a little bit of traffic in behind him looking to take advantage, but so far so good, holding everybody off. Little nice close battle. We've got, it looks like 5-6 cars all lined up and nose to tail coming around through Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, around through turns 2, leading into turn 3.
Certainly, and I do have to wonder as well, what's going to be the prime places to make a pass here? Certainly, as I say that may not be the wall of champions, but certainly it seems the wall of booty slap in that occasion. A couple of these drivers using the right rear to just give it a little bit of nudge, trying to find a little bit of grip there, or even need a little bit more road surface to try and extend on. But let's see what happened to Jan Cheek. Now, we saw him in the pits earlier missing a front wing. He is indeed returned back from a ban, ladies and gentlemen. Was getting into a little bit of hot water and gets a little bit loose on the exit of the hairpin.
Yeah, I'm wondering if he may have sustained a little more damage than just that front wing. Unfortunately, that car looks a little difficult to handle as we're following along.
Oh!
A little bit of a deep go there. Missed the braking point. It looks like a car come flying by on Brandon Hung.
Yeah, this is Adam Meeker. Let's take a quick look here. What happened? Certainly under braking, it can get a little bit loose. Adam Meeker, we've seen here before, gets a little bit too late on the brakes, and for lack of better words, absolutely devours the back of Brandon Hung, sorry. And it's fair to say both of these drivers are going to need to make a trip into the pit lane. See Mahid Rahman looking to make a move. Now, he's a previous champion of the Almeida Racing League, ladies and gentlemen. Currently rocking that number 25 car, but can he mind his way up through the field? He's got Pyro ends applying a big bit of pressure there. Certainly Canadian Cutting Edge will be cheering him on, and Michael Pretrick getting in the action as well. All three of these drivers experienced here in the Almeida Racing League. You can see a little bit of contact there on the side of, I believe that was Matthias Kuhn actually getting involved.
Yeah, that was going through the turn 1-2 series of corners, and that's definitely one of the places you want to make passes. No passes made there as we watch these cars. Matthias Kuhn going around hard, charging. Matthias trying to get up on Cairo ends, following nose to tail at this stage. This track's going to be really hard on the brakes. You'll see the front rotors just heating up red when Rob gives us those camera angles. That's what's going on there. These Formula 3 cars, a lot of braking power, lots of heat in those brakes, a glowing red.
Yeah, absolutely. As I just heard the sound of contact, ladies and gentlemen, I think a few of these drivers are maybe getting a little bit too flirtatious with the walls there, and certainly I don't think it's just going to be the walls that are going to have some skid marks on, ladies and gentlemen. We'll put it like that. As you can see, a absolutely whole fleet of cars making their way through that hairpin, making their way down the casino straight, ladies and gentlemen, which actually has turn 11 built into it. It must be a very, very tiny turn, because the turn 12 would be the start of the chicane right next to the Wall of Champions, also known as the Quebec Wall, ladies and gentlemen, which is exactly where they're heading right now. That's Matthias Kuhn. He's going to be on the outside of that. Thank you, Rob. As we see, it's not quite gone well for him, as it looks like he may take a little bit of a detour there. We'll be serving a slowdown. You can see right behind him one of the coaches, albeit I think one of the coaches may be lapped. That's Hayden Bramley, ladies and gentlemen. No, he's not lapped. He's just in P14 overall. Oof.
Yeah, and while we were watching that, I think we may have seen a little incident with Sean Haggerty in the very background. Lots of issues going on for these drivers, not used to the tight circuit with the walls here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, and they're coming from the inside and gets up on the curbs. The back end comes around, loses all grip, gets it sideways, pulls it off track in behind the wall.
Yeah, I definitely think if you get a little bit too greedy on the curbs, it will indeed penalize you. This is our race leader right now, the number 12 car of Vijay Rajasakaran. He's currently pulled away a 4.3 second lead, which is definitely good news for him. He's had a bit of bad luck through the season, through previous seasons, but right now, Anthony Lanassa is currently there in P2. Garrett Lund hot on his heels, ladies and gentlemen. The lead three pulled away about a 5-second gap over P4 and below. So certainly looking good for Garrett Lund, the number 30 car. He's due some good luck. I'm hoping that I haven't just cursed him there. Certainly my apologies if that's the case, and I deny all responsibility, as it looks like there's been an absolutely colossal wreck gone on. Let's take a quick look and find out exactly what happened.
Looks like we're going down in towards the hairpin, if I'm not mistaken, Zippy. We got cars coming in, sending it a little deep, and a spin up front. And once there's a spin entering that section, there's just nowhere else for anybody to go, and it's blocked the track, and everybody's just trying to get out of the way now.
Definitely a cleanup on aisle 5 on that one, ladies and gentlemen, or indeed a cleanup on turn 10. I think that may have been the case, as Rich was saying, as they've gone through the hairpin. As here's a view from Fernando Alfonso. I've got to say, well played by him. Not really anywhere he can go. Puts the brakes on, tries to get out of that. A couple of drivers on the inside able to get snuck by, but definitely could have been a lot worse. Certainly looks like getting the power down on the exit of turn 10 definitely has a challenging set of circumstances here, as we see a battle for P10. Ladies and gentlemen, Declan Marsden, my apologies, battle for P11. Declan Marsden versus Yifan Chow. Both of them new drivers here to the Almeida Racing League.
Yeah, Declan Marsden trying to have a little recovery run. He's down 7 positions thus far, but Yifan Chow up 14 positions to be taking full advantage of the incidents ahead of him and his great driving today.
I can certainly think of a driver who I know generally doesn't always have the best pace, but he does indeed believe in attrition, ladies and gentlemen. As we see, Leon Benvelsen has appeared to have done a little bit of striptease on that car, ladies and gentlemen. The 23 currently rocking a few less pieces than it would prefer to be rocking. So definitely the cheerleading section there for number 23 is going to be letting out a few groans of disappointment. As we see Marco Chacon currently with Andrew Calabrese, ladies and gentlemen. Two of these Team Green drivers currently rocking in P4, P5. And certainly heading towards the wall of champions. Almost touching there, the right front was Andrew Calabrese as they're making their way down to begin the start of lap 8.
I really like this section of the track here as we watch these drivers following nose to tail nice and close, not making any moves, but getting the front wing right up underneath the rear wing of the car ahead. Andrew Calabrese trying to make some moves on Marcus Chacon.
Definitely he is indeed trying, and we have a look through the standings as well. We can see a couple of scenarios where we got similar teams all bunched up together. Certainly we got Marco Chacon and Andrew Calabrese, P4, P5. If we have a look back, P8, we've got Martin Visser and Cairo Enns. Certainly, I would hope to see some good team tactics here, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, you know, don't get me wrong, if you're going to get into a battle, choose your targets, ladies and gentlemen. In your own team, there is a team championship going on as well. You don't want to take out and have any friendly fire, nothing of the sort. But Cairo Enns, definitely seen him. We've had him in the interview booth a few times, and he's really started to progress with his driving. Definitely a good demonstration here of how the Almeida Racing Academy, or indeed the Almeida Racing League, has been beneficial to him. Definitely making some good leaps and bounds, and able to get in a couple of podiums so far.
Yeah, the Almeida Racing League, it definitely is where the place to be if you want to learn and advance your racecraft. It looks like a lot of these drivers are certainly taking full advantage of that, improving themselves as the season progresses. Following along with Andrew Calabrese, following along behind Marco Chacon, entering the final chicane. It's a matter of how you take these curves. You've got to make use of the curves, swing it all the way out to the wall, but not hit the wall. Both drivers doing an excellent job there, maintaining their positions.
Yeah, definitely. And at this point, with this being a straight up sprint race, you definitely want to try and just, you know, make sure you stay even on the action. Definitely no pit stop required. And I do have to wonder as well, we know it's got a random invert grid, but we don't know how random it is or how that is indeed going to be decided. Maybe it was settled before the races. I believe something's happened with John Morandini, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly something's flagging up for lap 8. Let's take a quick peek and see what happened to the American driver, currently running solo here as he makes his way down into the hairpin. Gets hard on the brakes, and again, I think we're going to see it. Yep, definitely a little bit of oversteer on corner exit, and backing that car up off of the racing line. Well handled there by Morandini. Don't get me wrong, it's not the exit he was looking for, but at least he didn't cause further chaos. As we've got a wicked battle actually happening for P21 right now. If we get over to that, it's Yan Yan Cheek versus Sammy Hendricks, I believe, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly Yan Yan Cheek fresh back from that ban, and it looks like Sammy Hendricks is going to have to work a little bit harder if he wants to make his way up onto the P20 spot.
Yeah, and Sammy Hendricks doing a great job closing that gap. He's getting all over the back of it, but it is not to be right now. Very difficult. There's really nowhere to pass in this section of the track, Zippy. It's just a matter of maintaining your position and getting yourself good corner exits. Take opportunities when they arise. This is not the time, though. Just get up close where you can. Maybe take advantage through the hairpin upcoming, and then the long straightaway following.
Well, certainly every time we've seen Sammy Hendricks, ladies and gentlemen, he is definitely not a man who is afraid to put his nose in. Not necessarily where he should at all times, but he's keen to make a pass. It's like comparing me to you there, Richard. Certainly, I'm a little bit more opportunistic, perhaps. A little bit more assertive when it comes to trying to make a pass. And it looks like Hendricks is going to try and make it on the outside through the airpin. A little bit of slide there on corner exit, but has he managed to get the better exit speed? It does appear so, as he's right up to the rear wing of the number 24 car of Yan Yan Cheek as they make their way down the Casino Straight, heading towards the Wall of Champions. Now, this is reminding me of a video we saw by Swelio saying about track position and how you can try and almost force your opponent offline. And Sammy Hendricks there, very much staying on the outside, but that's going to compromise his line a little bit there. And yeah, definitely compromise his exit speed. Heading down to the Wall of Champions, you almost want to brake early and try and straight line it if that is the case. And he's managed to get sandbagged a little bit there by about half a second, ladies and gentlemen, as they are indeed potentially going to be on the last lap here, as we got a black flag for the number 7 of Hayden Bramley.
Hayden Bramley not having the race he wanted, getting that black flag. Unfortunate for Hayden. But Hayden is in 9th place, up 20 positions, but it looks like that's not going to be if what you said is correct, Zippy.
Well, I'm just going off what my overlay is telling me, and I'm not quite sure why he's got a black flag. It may be because he's took a little bit of a shortcut here. As I can say, Vijay Rajasakaran is making his way to the checkered, ladies and gentlemen. The Palestine driver, he started P1. He's going to finish P1, pulled away about a 5-second gap over Anthony Nanassa, who's going to be coming across the line in P2. Garrett Lund finally able to get a little bit of success there. I'd love to talk to him later. He gets P3 with Calabrese in P5. Chicon able to get P4.
Yeah, we've got Martin Visser coming across the line, finishing in P8, and we're watching the rest of the drivers come through the field. Here we go. We've got a good battle. Amin Alishai battling it out, and it is a very close battle with the Matthias Kuhn, but it's a matter of taking this exit. Nothing happening there, though, unfortunately.
Oh, definitely some interesting stuff happening indeed. It's also got a little bit of a replay here between an 09 car, the German driver of Matthias Kuhn, and he's going up against, gets a little bit caught there, maybe a little bit of netcode, maybe just a little bit too close as he makes his way down towards the Wall of Champions. And definitely wasn't the cleanest pass, but it may have indeed been a little bit of netcode. Certainly we have drivers from all over the world racing in this league, as I'm just trying to get a little bit of information, as I have indeed found out how many people are getting inverted, and I have to pretend it's a surprise, ladies and gentlemen. But let's go over the results here. Vijay Rajasakaran, or maybe not. There we go. Vijay Rajasakaran takes first with Anthony Nanassa in second. Garrett Lund, I feel for him. He finally managed to get a podium. No criticism on him there. More of a little bit of a relief for him on my part there. He's there in P3. Marco Chacon making P4. Andrew Calabrese is in 5th with Michael Preshuk in 6th. Mahid Rahman takes 7th with Martin Visser in 8th. Cairo ends in 9th, and Declan Marsden closing out your top 10. We're going to get back over to the grid, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly we do have a little bit of a 3-minute timer here. Thank you very much, Connor Bell, but I'd rather err on the side of caution, as the grid has indeed been shaken up. We got Mahid Rahman, who's going to start in P1 with Michael Prechuk in 2nd. Andrew Calabrese able to take 3rd with Marco Chacon in 4th. Garrett Lund takes 5th. Anthony Nanassa in 6th with Vijay Rajasakaran in 7th. Ladies and gentlemen, your top 7 was inverted for this race. Martin Visser is going to be in P8 with Cairo Enns. Could make a couple of moves here in P9 with Declan Marsden closing out your top 10.
And we have Yifan Zhao in 11th, followed by Samit Collier in 12th. Kevin Adrian in 13th, followed by Fernando Afonso in 14th. Matthias Kuhn in 15th, followed by Amin Al-Shahi in 16th. John Marandini in 17th, followed by Sean Haggerty in 18th. Then we have Sammy Hendricks in 19th, followed by John Jacek in 20th.
As we have a look, Branson Young, we saw him get caught up earlier. Oh my gosh, he's racing from Hong Kong. Power to him. I don't know what time it is there, but I have a feeling it's not going to be 12 o'clock in the afternoon. With Hayden Bramley alongside in 22nd. Juan San Miguel, he's going to be in 23rd. Leon Bedvals is certainly the crowd favourite. I say that. As the cheerleading section has returned, ladies and gentlemen, in 24th for Brian Lenz in 25th. Adam Meeker, definitely expected a little bit more from him. Got caught up in some incidents earlier on, is in 26th. But the coach of Connor Bell, ladies and gentlemen, actually, he just put out a new video as well. I think he's there in 27th with Joel Singleton in 28th. Abdul Rahman Mahmood, he's in 29th with Ken Halliburton, ladies and gentlemen, definitely one of the most potent drivers in the iRacing service in P30.
I was surprised that first race, Zippy. The differences in the gaps for the top 10 were quite significant. I'd like to see a little bit closer racing this race. I think we had some of those incidents caused a little bit of issues, but hopefully things go a little bit better here for the second heat 2 here.
Well, I can tell you we have another cheerleader section in here, and it is indeed for the number 6 car in 6th place. It is for Amphlin and NASA. We've got Panda in the chat, giving them a let's go Lanasa with a couple of fiery symbols, indeed. And indeed, there may be some fire as we've got about 15 seconds, ladies and gentlemen, until the lights go up. And I've got to say, I'm actually... never really noticed until just now. Sir Lou Gilles' 30th anniversary, I believe, or 30 years, ladies and gentlemen. Forgive me if I completely butchered that, but again, French is not my first language. Indeed, English is often questioned as my first language, but we'll let you decide that, as the lights indeed should be going up any second now. I'm waiting for it. The suspense is there, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Lights are on. The suspense, the rev of the engines. Mahid Rahman in the 25 is going to take us away, and they're out, and definitely a very, very quick start from a couple of drivers there, as Mahid Rahman is going to be taking us all the way down to turn 1 and through 2. You can already see there, 2 wide, almost 3 wide in sections further back through the field. Now, cold tyres, ladies and gentlemen. Cold tyres. They've got to remember that it's not the car that he just drove. You see Mahid Rahman able to get out in front, and not only that, hold on to that in the number 25.
Yeah, it's definitely the cold tires get a little bit loose there. We've got some crashing going on. Looks like some big incidents going on in the backfield, but Mikhail Prechik holding on. Marco Chacon sitting in 4th still. It looks like the top 7, 8, 9 drivers all got through clean, but we lost a few people back in the midfield.
There may have indeed been a murder on the dance floor as we have a look at the number 31 of Fernando Alfonso as he's making his way down there. He is in the red, ladies and gentlemen. Gets a little bit too late on the brakes. Absolutely mullers the back of that British Racing green car. I'm going to hold him personally accountable. And it looks like another incident then emerged on the exit of that. Let's have a look a bit further up with Sean Haggerty, ladies and gentlemen. Now, he's in the Team Black car, just trying to get a good camera angle. They dodged most of the incident, make their way around the right-hander. Somebody gets a little bit loose, and Haggerty just ends up getting basically caught on the incident. It's definitely been a murder of a couple of the Team Green cars in that first event, but let's see how it worked out with the standings. Ladies and gentlemen, right now, Kane Halliburton up an incredible 14 positions. Connor Bell not far behind, 12 positions gained in 15th and 16th, respectively.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of a pinch and a little bit of a wiggle, and that just caused a whole bunch of goodness. Big catastrophe at the end of the final straightaway, entering in the final chicane. We've got cars wrecked all over the place. Not what we want to see here today.
Yeah. He was carrying a meatball flag, making his way into the pits. Panda is definitely going to be disappointed about that, but Connor Bell already very quick, very on the assertion. Certainly Racing Kane, these guys are not going to be too kind to each other. It's going to be friendly racing, but they're still going to fight each other neck and neck, and that is exactly what Connor Bell is doing himself versus Kane Halliburton. Definitely, if I do make it out towards Ottawa way, certainly Connor does drive in NASCAR Canada, ladies and gentlemen. By all means, check him out. I believe that's the series. Forgive me if I'm wrong. He's just got a Challenger-looking car, ladies and gentlemen. But let's see what happened to Mahid Rahman in the number 25, currently running solo there. And I'm guessing he's probably going to lock up a little bit under the brakes. Oh, whoops. Gets cagged by the Team Blue car, and then definitely a little bit of an unsafe rejoin, you could say there. Makes contact with another car. So Mahid Rahman a little bit too keen to get going again, as we do indeed return and see what's happening up the front of the grid. Ladies and gentlemen, Marco Chacon currently registering in P3. Michael Prechik's been able to hold on to that. As I see, there's a car span just there. Yep, that was the replay from the number 11 car's point of view.
Yeah, it's been a whole bunch of disasters going on non-stop here, Zippy. Trying to keep back up with the leaders. Andrew Calabrese sitting in 2nd place, finishing up a lap 2 here. We've only gone through 2 laps of this E-race, Zippy. Things have been chaos. We've got a blue car followed by the 3 or 4 green cars. Michael Prechik trying to hold on to that lead over Andrew Calabrese. Andrew Calabrese dipping it up the inside, taking a look, but nothing happening there. That allows a Marco Chacon. Goes up, and Michael Prechik, it looks like he's gone off. I'm not sure if he got touched or not, but that's definitely going to be disappointing for him.
Yeah, that definitely looked like a touch from what I could see there, Richard. But I got to admit, I'm going to say in a slightly biased opinion here, if you take a quick look at who's P1, 2, and 3, it's fair to say that my team is doing incredibly well, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong, I don't have a horse in the race, but I still am very much a British Racing Green fan. Let's take a quick look at the replay from Marco Chacon. You can see there's a little bit of a nudge on corner exit. The door was wide open for him. Chacon able to just absolutely slide on through. Capitalize on that, and we got 3 greens in 1, 2, 3, and then 3 greens in 5, 6, and 7. As I say that, Halliburton has made his way in, and Michael Prechik falling down through the field there, down to P10 all of a sudden.
Yeah, that's not a very good start. We're going to pick it up. Kane Halliburton doing what Kane Halliburton does best, up 23 positions, battling hard, going around the outside the long way around and seeing if he can make that move on Matthias Kuhn. Looks like they're going to be battling up this long straightaway with the two gold cars on the outside having the preferred line if they can maintain pace. It's just a matter of the late breakers, who's going to have the strength and the endurance and the means to break the latest here.
Yeah, it definitely is a battle of courage, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see there, Matthias Kuhn is indeed fighting back against the coaches. Where's Mike Sargent when you're leading, ladies and gentlemen? Certainly, definitely the most feisty person to take on the coaches. And right now, honestly, Matthias Kuhn is pretty much in a Almeida Racing League sandwich, ladies and gentlemen. I've got to say that is, it's not going to be flavoured of bologna, probably be flavoured of gasoline and indeed rubber, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, these two cars making their way past the coaches, definitely showing everybody who is boss, with Halliburton up an incredible 24 spots. Connor Bell right behind, up 20 spots. As we take a look at Leon Bentbelsen, we got another cheerleader for him in the chat. It's Kaylee. They have a little love heart as well, cheering on Leon Bentbelsen, the Netherlands driver. Certainly it's good to have him back here in the Almeida Racing League as he's making his way down on lap 4, trying to make his way up past one of the new drivers in the league, ladies and gentlemen. Amin Al-Shahi, could see him there. Currently Bentbelsen, though, up 9 positions overall.
Yeah, Ben Belson, definitely a crowd favorite out on the YouTube channels, always bringing his own cheering section, holding off Amin Al-Shai. Amin is looking back here. Leon looking to make some advancements, but it's just not happening at this stage of the race. There's just nowhere to pass here. Entering into the chicane, though.
It definitely, I don't believe these cars have ABS, Rich, and by all means, I know you've driven it a bit more than I have, and certainly being able to get the car stopped is, it's just one part of being able to have some success here at this track, as it looks like Cairo Ends is going to be under attack from two the Team Blue cars, ladies and gentlemen. The 3-3-2 is again Matthias Kuhn. He's already fought against the coaches. Michael Prechuk started up further in the grid, and it looks like the two Team Blue cars may have actually slowed each other down a little bit there, as Sammy Hendricks has said, look, you're going too slow, I'm going out. And if we go back actually to Sammy Hendricks, yep, there you go, they were almost free wide for a second there, as it looks like Hayden Bramley is potentially getting involved in that fight as well.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the great passing opportunities here as we follow on board with these drivers. That turn 1-2 complex, the inside leads to the outside on one corner, and it's a matter of positioning your car in the right place, take advantage. Looks like we've got a little bit of advantage being taken on there.
Well, we do have even more people cheering on Leon Bentbelsen in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see exactly what happened to Jan Janchik here, the number 24 car. He's heading down into the braking zone. Yeah, that looked clean enough. Locks up a little bit there, and yeah, gets tagged, gets caught up on the green car. I'm honestly not sure how to call that one there. I mean, he got there, he got in front, and then I think the other guy was just accelerated like he wasn't there. I'd say actually Jan Cheek on that one would be in the innocent from the view I could have. But we got more cheerleaders, ladies and gentlemen, for the number 23 car. It looks like Flusha has made an appearance, as has Jury's F1. Definitely both names I've seen before. But right now we've got a battle between the coaches. It's Halliburton versus Bell.
Halliburton versus Bell. Bell following, Halliburton leading. Entering into the final chicane, this is where it's all at. You want to take this as quickly as you can, and it looks like Kane Halliburton, fantastic job making use of all of the track, leaving Connor Bell no opportunity, because really, Sippy, this is the best place to pass on the track, turn 1-2, but it's not going to be for Connor Bell. Kane Halliburton doing a great job of holding him off.
Definitely, Kane Halliburton is indeed a very potent driver, and I got to say, I actually had the pleasure of racing against Swelio, Kane, Connor, a couple of these drivers actually. So Swellier was practicing for his IMSA race at Watkins Glen, puts up a hosted session, and I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll play. Bought the Veloster TCR car. No, the Elantra TCR car, my apologies. It's a Hyundai, I was close, like, bought the Elantra TCR car, gave it a whirl, I like Watkins, and it's fair to say that I had no pace, but I do have defensive talents, and that was definitely Connor Bell didn't get the receiving end. I left the door wide open for him. I think purely for that he must owe me breakfast, but certainly was able to hold up a couple of these those drivers. And I got to say, I'm gonna call out Swellier on his own broadcast on this one. He's there and he's like, I can see chaos coming, and it must have been literally a split second later. I absolutely murdered a car on my inside. I thought I was clear, and it's fair to say I wasn't. So thank you for that, Swellier. The commentator's curse indeed can extend to the guy who indeed owns the league. Thank you for that. As we see Brian Lenz looking to try and make a move up through the hairpin, make his way up to P16.
nice effort there, but it's Zippy, let's be honest, I don't think that was the only car you've ever murdered in your history of iRacing. So I think I've been on the receiving end of one or two of those shunts, but great racing we've got going on here. We're 9 minutes in, we're on lap 7, coming into the final section of this lap. We've got a few more laps to go. Just 5 minutes left in this race, Zippy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to see me murder Richard after the show, we can indeed set it up. Let's get a couple of suggestions on the car, ladies and gentlemen. And for a track, we'll find something that we mutually agree on. Certainly, it's not going to matter anyway. I'm going to punt him in turn 1. But definitely, if you'd like to see that, maybe we'll have to put up a hosted sometime later on. Certainly, I have a feeling there you go, Rob, you can broadcast and commentate it. We'll have some giggles and we'll have a little bit of a grudge match going on. As you see, a little bit of a wall booty smack there from one of the Team Blue drivers.
Yeah, I think that might have been, I'm not sure who that was actually, but Cairo Enns is doing a good job holding off Hayden Bramley. Hayden Bramley up 12 positions, doing a great job, and it looks like he's going to try and make a move around the outside. There's really no spot to pass here. He's just setting himself up for a couple of corners from now, but that lets Sammy Hendricks close right up onto the rear.
Well, definitely Hayden Bramley is indeed in the middle of this sandwich. Now, I have to wonder, is Sammy Hendricks going to make a move as they go around turn 10 into that hairpin, ladies and gentlemen? He's gone for the wider exit there, going to try and carry a little bit more speed through the hairpin, and I don't think it really worked out for him in that case. Certainly the draft will indeed be part of this, but are we going to see an opportunity here for Hendricks? Because these guys, I suspect they're going to go too wide. Cairo Enns putting in an incredible defensive drive. He's hugged the inside, maybe too tight, and this is exactly what I was talking about just there. You can see there, Enns squeezing Bramley to the side, not quite able to get it done. Bramley's carrying a little bit more overspeed, but is he going to be potentially under attack now? Is Enns going to have Hendricks to deal with as they fight for P9?
Yeah, that was a little bit of compromised entry there. Not much you can do there. Enns doing a good job, though. He's managed to hold off Sammy Hendricks at this stage. Sammy getting up into the rear end there, but no problem at all. These cars, Zippy, the back end can get real loose on you if you get on that throttle too quickly, and we've seen that several times today so far, unfortunately.
Yeah, definitely the hairpin on corner exit appears to be a little bit of a spicy moment, as Yifan Chow is currently going to be the next on the chopping block, and he doesn't have just one coach, ladies and gentlemen. He's got 2 of them, ladies and gentlemen, to go up against. And it's going to be Kane Halliburton. He's going to try and make his way around the... Oh dear. Was that contact or was that netcode? Certainly, I can understand a little bit of netcode, but we'll take a quick look at the replay there. Rob's saying that the guy lost it all on his own. I'm giving the coaches a little bit of a more precise scrutiny, you could say. We'll take a quick look at the replay here. Let's find out. And here's an aerial shot from Yifan Chow's point of view. And yep, no, I'm inclined to agree with Rob on that one. That was a solo spin by the number 26.
Yeah, that's just going to show you these cars can be a little tricky to handle. You got to be careful on the brakes, careful on the throttle, as we watch Kane Halliburton continue on his hard charge. Kane Halliburton passing Declan Marsden. Connor Bell now looking to make advancements. Connor Bell looking down into the turn 1 sequence. This is where you want to go. He's going to maybe go up the inside. Late break, but he's got to carry that speed. Otherwise, he's not going to hold that position, but he does, and he manages to get by Declan Marsden.
I see Aurum in the chat. I got to be honest, I don't understand what a white circle, an orange circle, and a white circle mean. You've lost me on that one. Maybe I'm just old. But there's then an arm flex and a lion. Now, I can understand. It's a lion that works out in juice. Okay, I've got it. I'm guessing it's positive, cheerlead. We're all old farts in this. Well, I say we're all old. I'm 34. Going to be 35 this year, ladies and gentlemen. If you'd like to come to my funeral, it's in October. But Amin Al-Shahi running a little bit deep there. Is that going to put him under attack from what appears to be the crowd favorite right now? The number 23 of Leon Bentbelsen. He's up 11 spots. He's got Aurum doing some kind of mystical flag system, I guess, in the chat there. Is this a secret code for Leon Bentbelsen on a strategy?
Well, I think Leon Bentbelsen, they've got the voodoo dolls out in the chat, I guess, Zippy, and trying to do whatever they can. Liam Bentbelsen, always a crowd favorite here, and today is no exception. Nothing venture, nothing gain, though. But that said, looks like we had a little bit of a wiggle there for Amin Al-Shahi, and that may allow Leon Bentbelsen to close up. Doesn't look like he's close enough here, but he's going to get a little bit closer onto the drive down to this long straight. It's a matter of positioning. Leon trying to set himself up for that turn 1-2. He's going to, faked it out to the inside. I don't know if that was advisable at this stage. It may compromise his exit a little bit.
Well, I believe if he's going to get it done, it's probably going to have to be on this lap. I'm wondering if we've seen a white flag waving anywhere yet. Certainly, I've not been able to catch Barney doing it. He may have indeed gone on strike yet again. Honestly, you just can't get good stuff here at some of the racetracks. Yeah, he's quit, ladies and gentlemen. So if you'd like to be the flag man in iRacing, I hear that the Cookie Monster was actually booked this week, but certainly I'd love to have him down. I hear the food's good. As you see, Kane Halliburton going side by side here with Connor Bell. They're currently up P4 and P5, and I gotta be honest, I got nothing against Kane Halliburton, but I'd like to see Connor Bell get the better of him, just because, honestly, he literally lives where I used to work. So, you know, that's pretty cool. I've literally put up lights in the parking lot like 30 seconds from his house.
Is he? I was going to say, is he live in a van down by the river, Zippy? Anyhow,
Wow.
Connor Bell really applying pressure to Kane Halliburton, but it looks like Kane has got him covered off as we follow around with Andrew Calabrese coming around to take the final lap here. A significant lead. He's got almost a full second lead over Garrett Lund. It looks like this is his to lose. All he has to do is that his final corner. Looks like we've got Andrew Calabrese coming around to take the non-checker flag from the non-Barney.
It's his first podium that I've seen. Garrett Lund getting 2 today. Certainly he indeed may have a 4-leaf clover stashed now. He's going to see a drag racer line, and Halliburton, I think Halliburton bombed out on that one. Connor Bell got the better of him. Yes, that's what you get when you have Broad Race for breakfast, ladies and gentlemen. But I gotta say, you guys making some assertions there. I couldn't afford the van, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't want to work on it. I went with the U-Haul cardboard box. Home Depot wouldn't sponsor me to get a plastic one. But you see Connor Bell able to make a move at the end of that, and able to get the better of Halliburton. Certainly, I actually want to hear a play by that later on from the point of Connor Bell. I think he's going to be savoring that a little bit there, as Juries has indeed explained the Morse code or the mysterious symbols here from Aurum. Silver for team color, orange for Dutch, lion is also Dutch. I've never met a Dutch lion, but to be honest, I've never asked them where they're from. Certainly, you know, I mean, I can talk a lot of different languages. No, I can't. I can't even sell that. I'm trying to think of how I can phrase.
You don't even have English, Zippy.
I'm trying to think of how I can phrase that without quite pooching it up and putting it broadcast friendly. But you got the gist, ladies and gentlemen. As we see, this race is coming down to an end. Sean Haggerty, certainly he's been a potent driver, the lowest iRating driver in this split. But I got to say to him, he has been very, very competitive indeed. Definitely not had the best of luck so far as he's making his way across the line, takes the checkered, ladies and gentlemen. As we should probably take a quick look for some results here, if they're going to pop up. But I do believe we're going to have a short break in just a few short moments as well. Rich, do the honors, sir.
We'll do the honors. We had Andrew Calabrese taking a 1.2 second victory over Garrett Lund in second. Then we had Marco Chacon in rounding out the podium. Connor Bell with that great move on Kane Halliburton takes fourth. Kane in fifth. Then we had Declan Marsden followed by Mikhail Prechik. Hayden Bramley finished 8th, followed by Cairo ends in 9th. Sammy Hendricks rounds out the top 10.
As we have a look at P11, Matthias Kuhn is there with the crowd favourite. Leon Benvelsen in 12th. Amin Al-Shahi takes 13th for Joe Sungleton in 14th. Abdul Rahman Mahmoud is in 15th with Juan Shran Miguel in 16th. Martin Vesser in 17th with Brian Lenz in 18th. John Marandini in 19th and Yan Yan Cheek closing out your top 20 as we bring the 21st in. Brandon Hung with Kevin Adrian, Vijay Rajasakaran, Sean Haggerty, Yifan Chow, Anthony Lanassa. Certainly we did have a cheerleader for Lanassa in the chat. I believe that was Panda. Adam Mika takes 27th and Mahid Rahman 28th. I believe Mahid may be no, he's not. Abdul Rahman Mahmoud is a student coach as well. And Simon Collier in 90th for Fernando Afonso. He used to be one of the crowd favourites here. Certainly I've not seen his cheerleading section back for a little while. He's there closing out in 30th. But I believe we're going to have quick time for a ad break here from Swallow himself.
The Almeida Racing League is growing fast. Hundreds of drivers, multiple splits, broadcasted races, and it's not just about individual winning, it's a team championship. You race with your own squad, you learn how to compete, and you grow together. And we don't throw you into the races blindly. Every week we help you prepare with pit parties to train side-by-side battles, workshops with live coaching, 20 driving challenges with full tutorials, and even group raids into official iRacing races after the league night. For just $25 a month, this is the most complete training experience in sim racing. Join us as a member today to start your advanced training and racing with us. I'll see you on track.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. You're just going to deal with me for a little while as Richard Swindow's is having a senior moment, ladies and gentlemen, and it involves a flushing action. We'll put it like that. And while he's not here, we're going to absolutely roast him for it. We'll find out if he watches it back after. Certainly, Rob will indeed keep his mouth shut if you want to see him back here next week. If not, he's going to do it for the lols anyway. So we're definitely having we're having a lot of fun here in the commentary booth today. As I was chatting with the chat. That's terrible vocabulary on that one. But I hope you are all having as much fun as we are. And we got Go Dad. I'm guessing either I've got something I didn't know about, or Leon Bentvalsen potentially is Fluge's father. Looks like Hesper is having a good time. Canadian Curtain Edge is having a good time. So nice spending there, Cairo. Keep pushing hard. And commentating keeps us all in it. Thanks, guys. You guys make this experience what it is. I'm going to take that as a compliment. I think that's going to be the best way to do it, as I have tried to steal Connor Bell in during this break, and we can't steal him, ladies and gentlemen, but himself, Kane, and Hayden will start from the pits. Okay, so we're not going to roast Connor Bell just yet. We wanted to hear a little bit about that battle he had there with Kane at the end. Certainly, I would enjoy hearing that from Connor's point of view. He actually has commentated here on Pit Road Productions before. We were caught short, and he stepped in. I got to say, he did an absolutely fabulous job, so fair play to him. But I gotta say, Richard, it looks like you have indeed returned from your senior moment.
I heard it all.
Guilty, ladies and gentlemen, guilty, and it's fair play. You know, we're all as bad as each other. If anything, I'm a little bit worse. But this final race is going to be a little bit longer as well. We're going to have the grid set from race 2, so this could be very good here for Garrett Land. Yourself. What would be your strategy for this 20-minute race?
Well, based on what I've seen in the first 2 races, my strategy in the third race would be the exact same as it would be in any race. You got to survive, guys. You got to take note of the cold tires. Make sure you get to the finish, because if you're losing front wings or rear wings on lap 1 or 2, you're going to be nowhere.
I'm trying to remember, actually, what is it, your little catchphrase that you've invented for yourself there, Richard?
That was my indie effort there, Zippy. That was, I may not be fast, but I last.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh gosh, there's so many different entendres. I would definitely like to rock with that. Family-friendly show, ladies and gentlemen, and they let us do it, so we'd rather keep it that way. Certainly, it's a pleasure to be not just here on Pit Road Productions, but indeed on Swelio's channel as well. By all means, if you haven't already, I forgive you at this moment, but after this, no, there is no forgiveness. You need to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. By all means, if you want to see more action from us here on Pit Road Productions, we currently got shows going on Monday nights and Saturdays. So take it a little bit more quieter during Tuesday nights as well. My apologies. Don't forget, because Rob and Richard do the Tuesday night one. But no, Monday, Tuesdays, and Saturdays at the minute we have shows going on. Certainly in the fall, it is indeed going to pick up a little bit more, and certainly Swelio's as well. You want to see his content, ladies and gentlemen. Even the free content can indeed make you a better driver, but if you really want to take it seriously, you definitely need to be part of the Almeida Racing Academy, or indeed get the Motor Racing Checklist. All very good resources indeed, and we've seen the results, ladies and gentlemen. They are absolutely incredible. As we got Andrew Calabrese here, he's going to start in P1 and Garrett Land in P2. Marco Chacon, what an entrance, ladies and gentlemen. That Team Raccoon Racing, obviously, it's a bit more than the Trash Panda. This Trash Panda can get up to P3, ladies and gentlemen. With Connor Bell, he will be starting from the pits, but showing as P4 with Kane Halliburton in P5. Declan Marsden is in P6 with Michael Pressure in 7th. Hayden Bramley, again starting from the pits, he will be in 8th. Cairo ends in 9th, and Sammy Hendricks closing out your top 10.
And then we've got some of our European favorites. We've got Matthias Kuhn in 11th, followed by Leon Bentvelsen in 12th. Amin Al-Shahi in 13th, followed by Joe Singleton. Then we have Abdul Rahman Muhammad in 15th, followed by Juan Miguel. Martin Visser in 17th, followed by Brian Lenzi. John Morandini in 19th, followed by Jan Jansik.
If you're wondering why Rich started stuttering, then Rob may have just wet himself laughing at my colleague's expenses. The lights are indeed going to go out. We're getting ready to go green. Calabrese's going to be on the start as they make their way down all the way into turn on. I say all the way, it's actually quite a short little run there, as the coaches are indeed starting from pit lane. This is definitely going to mix up the order a bit, as we're already going to see a few people showing us some great moves. But Team Green currently 1, 2, 3. Can they do a podium lockout, ladies and gentlemen? 2 Team Blue right behind them. Declan Martin and Michael Pritchard there in 4th and 5th. And as I have a look down, I am yet to see any incidents. This is good news for actually a clean race start for the final race of the day. As I say that, chaos, panic, and disorder in turn 3.
Yeah, everything got off to a good start, but then all the wheels came off and things started going badly. Looks like the top 7, 8 drivers, though, all got away clean, and it looks like we've got some good battling up front.
Well, here we see Hayden Bramley making his way out of the pits, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm kind of curious. Oh, dear, Hayden, cold tyres, buddy, cold tyres. As he makes his debut returning from the pits with a little bit of a smoke show for the audience there, as we have a look back to Matthias Kuhn. Now, he's a Team Blue driver there. He's already missing a rear wing, so perhaps actually we've got to go back a little bit further there. A couple of drivers getting caught up in that. I do have to wonder, how did he lose his rear wing? Did he potentially get a little bit of a nudge there heading into turn 1?
Yeah, unfortunately, if you got no rear wing, you're not going to be able to make that turn. We got a big in the pin. Cars everywhere. Looks like the drivers did not take any lessons from race 1 and 2, and just chaos and calamity going on, Zippy.
Oh, absolutely. Who let me on the track, ladies and gentlemen? Certainly, oh, that's a fantastically broken car I've just seen there. Let's have a look at John Morandini here. He's going to be in the number 5 car. I got a feeling he's going to be maybe a little bit scrunched up in the brakes. He goes hard on the brakes, and there's already an accident ahead of him. Looks like one of the Team Green cars got caught up in that. And then, oh my gosh, 3 wide. Let's try again. We're actually having a hard time finding this one, ladies and gentlemen. There's so much happening at once. Abdulrahman Ramboud there. He is in the Team Blue car, so he's going to be on the outside of this. Gets a little bit of nudge from the green. Red car with orange wheels.
Yeah, the red car there got off onto the grass, braking late, realized they couldn't make the corner, and they just went along for a ride, slid out, and a whole bunch of cars got taken out in that incident.
Well, it's fair to say that as soon as we gave him credit for a great race start, well, we had to eat our own words on that one, but it happens. You see Connor Bell there, currently resting in P9. I have to wonder, Kane Halliburton appears to have, he's been caught in that that incident, or 3, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, Connor Bell there, currently resting in P8, making his way up through the pack. As we actually lost one of the front of the green pack there, Marco Chacon. He was up in P3. He's now been pushed back all the way there to 27th. We saw him trying to rejoin the track a little bit earlier on. Rob had a good camera angle of that one. But good news there for Team Blue. Michael Pritchard is going to be currently resting on that final podium spot.
Yeah, you keep pushing for the Team Green cars. I'll cheer for Team Blue. So we've got opposing views in the booth here, Zippy. Andrew Calabrese, Garrett Loon doing a great job. But here we're going to pick it back up. Fernando Afonso battling it out, trying to catch on to the back of Sean Haggerty, coming down into basically the best passing opportunity on the track, going on the outside, defending on the inside is Haggerty. It's a matter of the late breakers. Looks like it's going to be Fernando Afonso, not afraid, and taking it out wide, taking the position. He's going to be battling back hard, though, is Sean Haggerty.
Looks like Leon Benvelsen is looking to try and make some moves as well, ladies and gentlemen. As we got Go Leon from Hesper, and we got a come on Cairo, you go get Hendricks from Canadian Cutting Edge. But right now, Leon Benvelsen, he flirted with that curb, and it's fair to say that the flirt was not well received, ladies and gentlemen. Got a little bit of a slap there from our track, and that's cost him a couple of positions there. He will be able to rejoin back into the track. Thankfully, no damage there. It's almost maybe a little bit of stage fright as Benvelsen. It looked a little bit hot going in. He carried in a bit too much speed. Car, I think it looked pretty much bottomed out there on the inside curve, but thankfully no damage there. He will manage to remain in the top 14 of this field.
Yeah, did a great job of saving that after getting the 2 wheels all the way over onto the grass, bottoming out the car. But Liam Benfelsen, great job saving this. We're going to pick it back up with Vijay Rajasekaran coming up deep.
Oh!
Too deep. And looks like he's caused a little bit of an issue there. And looks like we've got some damaged cars on the field here, Zippy.
Yeah, I think that may have been Kevin Adrian he just caught there. As you see, Adrian is there up and ahead. And it did look like Rajasekaran went in a little bit too deep. Let's take another look here. So he's there on the inside, just absolutely. It may have been a little bit in net code as well, but it looked like he just got way too close to the number 29 of Kevin Adrian. He's not going to be happy with that. And fair play to him. Certainly Kevin Adrian, another one of those drivers I've seen, definitely been on the receiving end of some unfortunate luck there. As we switch the camera over to the right rear and just, honestly, just gets, lack of better words, he got murdered in that.
Yeah, some of these drivers looks like they're driving these cars like they're GT cars, and they've got fenders and doors and things to protect those wheels. And these open wheels, you just can't drive like that and expect to finish the race, unfortunately.
Well, it's never stopped me yet, Richard, and it's fair to say I don't finish that many races either. You see, Connor Bell has just gone to set the fastest lap, well, 1:31 flat, ladies and gentlemen. If we actually try and do a little bit of comparison there, He's really hauling, ladies and gentlemen, actually. If I have a look at the best laps, he's absolutely obliterating everybody on that one. I think the next nearest is a 131.3 from the race leader right now, the number 14 car of Andrew Calabresi.
Yeah, Connor Bell is certainly showing the pace he's had all day long, and really he's shown it consistently, and that's why he is one of the coaches. He's got great driving ability, great coaching ability. Connor Bell sitting there, it looks like he's down 3 positions, but battling hard and setting fast laps.
Yeah, himself and the other coaches did indeed start from the pit, so realistically he's up, I'd say a good solid 20 positions, ladies and gentlemen, about that roughly. As we can see here, Richard, you seem to be excited. What are you trying to tell me here?
I'm not trying to say a whole lot, but as we pick it up, Vijay Rajasekaran, obviously not too much damage because he's still battling it out here, sitting in at 13th place. Vijay Leon Benvelsen having a good little battle as we go down the front straightaway.
Yeah, certainly Leon Benvelsen, the Dutch driver, he's keen, he's potent, and definitely he's had a mixed series of luck here. Certainly, I think he was a bit more potent in the M2, personally. I felt that was where he was more at home. The open wheelers definitely not being as forgiving to him, but Vijay Rajasekaran definitely seems to be a little bit of a boom or bust driver from my observations, and definitely think he may indeed get a little bit of a discussion potentially from the stewards after that move on the number 29 of Kevin Adrian. It did seem a little bit aggressive there, but we have to see what happens with that. That's a beautiful part about being a broadcaster, ladies and gentlemen. We don't do race control. I've been asked to do it before, and it's fair to say I've got absolutely zero interest in doing race control. If you want somebody to do that, I'm not your guy. Fair to say. I don't know about... Actually, let's ask it quickly in the booth. Richard, Rob, how would you feel about doing race control?
Well, I have done race control before, Zippy, and nobody likes you. And, well, not to say anybody likes me anyways, but, there's some tough decisions to be made, and it's a lot more fun being in the booth.
Rob, how about yourself? If you want to make sure your broadcast to your mic's broadcast, let's get your opinion actually on being race control.
I'm always down to drop a band hammer. Zippy always down to drop the band hammer.
So Rob there definitely a little bit more potent. He's even named his band hammer, I believe, and I think he might have called it Captain Stan at one point. I'm not too sure. I'm gonna see if I can get a little bit of a roast out of him. I was expecting more. But certainly, just trying to roast my colleague there. Rob, I thought I was going to get more out of you for that one. I was trying to think of something short notice. We may have indeed called it Bobby, even. Bobby the Banhammer. Certainly,
his name is Bobby the Bellend, Zippy.
Bobby the Bell and Banhammer, ladies and gentlemen. So something is happening. Yeah, Yifan Chow has managed to clear his meatball flag, albeit back in 26 and 4 laps down. So it's fair to say their race is probably pretty much over at this point. As they have a look, we should probably return to the race, ladies and gentlemen, as we see Mahid Rahman, one of the former champions here of the Almeida Racing League, currently resting in P11. Being pursued now by Vijay Rajasekaran. Rajasekaran made his way past Benvelsen, but can he continue to make his way up towards the top 10 with just about 12 minutes left of this race to go?
We take a look at the replay, watching how that move happened. Vijay Rajasekaran making a great move on the final chicane and entering the World Champions, kept it off the wall. Pick it back up. We've got Mahid Rahman. I'm really having difficulty with some names today, Zippy. I guess Saturdays are a little too early in the morning for my brain to be fully functioning, but Vijay Rajasekaran doing a great job here despite those earlier issues. He's trying to make a move on Mahid Rahman. He's going outside. Rahman protecting the inside. It's a matter of the late breakers. What's going to happen here? Who's got the guts? Who's going to get the glory? And it looks like Rajasekaran getting moved on and closing it off, and really leaving no room for Mahid Rahman. Mahid having to get onto the binders hard.
Yeah, from what I've seen so far, it looks like, yes, you can get the car ahead of the Wall of Champions, but you're almost like parked in front of them at that point, so they basically have to surrender the absolute smashing of the gas pedal, which I gotta say, I'm not a big fan of doing that. I just rather put my foot in it, as I believe Connor Bell's gone even faster, ladies and gentlemen. He's hit a 1:30.702. Absolutely set. Of course, that would say 7:01. Different timing screens, ladies and gentlemen. But we're not going to be pedantic. We've expressed that point. But you can see here, right now, Connor Bell, if he wants to move up to the back of Cairo, enter 332, he's going to have to find about 4.5 seconds. So if we have a look, actually, maybe you can do that beautiful screen there, get the lap times up. Let's see if he is indeed managing to catch up to the back of Cairo Ends. He's got lap traffic ahead of him. So if we look at the lap time of Ends, Connor Bell is definitely making some progress, ladies and gentlemen. He may indeed be able to catch Ends by the end of this race. But now, the lap traffic there, the number 2 car, Simon Collier, if he doesn't get out of the way, this could potentially stop Bell from making his way up into P5.
Yeah, certainly Bell is going to try and take advantage of the draft here, but he really needed Simon Collier to move out of the way, and it looks like he has lifted off. Connor Bell progressing and looking to make some more moves and catch up to Cairo Ends.
Well, the rabbit can indeed, well, I guess the fox can indeed see the rabbit on this one. For anybody in the UK, that you might remember a show, it was a terrible show, I've got to be honest with you, but it had, well, not Vernon Kay, the guy from Bolton or something. He did English Top Gear. What was his name? Well, Paddy McGuinness. And it used to be the thing, it was some dating show, and it used to be like, no likey, no lighty. And he'd come out with some of these phrases like, oh, let the fox see the rabbit, and stuff like that. And it used to be hilarious, and definitely I do not have that kind of a thing. He's not from Bolton, I don't know where he's from, but yeah, you get the idea. It's just little quips, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like absolute fail, ladies and gentlemen, as I've just gone back about 10 years. Certainly, if Richard Swindell's went back 10 years, he may indeed be back in his 40s, ladies and gentlemen. But Andrew Calabrese, currently right now, is resting in P1. But for how long? Garrett Lund, his teammate, is right behind him. Lund and Calabrese both making their way onto the podium today. They were joined earlier by Marco Chacon, who's actually left the session at this point. But is Lund going to want to fight a little bit harder? Is Lund going to be thirsty? He's had a taste of a success, but can he make his way onto the top step of the podium with about 8 minutes left to go of this race?
Well, we will see, Zippy. He's definitely within draft range. Into the last lap, he closed up a half a second, but it looks like he may have lost some of that time this lap. We'll see as they come across the start-finish line. And right now, these two are really having a good battle, and it's really one of theirs to lose with about a 3-second gap back to third.
Yeah, and it looks like Prechek's not catching up either. He's certainly starting to fall back a little bit there. If I do a little bit of zippy math there, he's about a second he's dropped in the past 4 laps. So Prechek, I'd say, is currently out of that battle. He's got Sari Hendricks, who's going to be trying to make some moves up behind him as well. Actually, speaking of Hendricks, he's up 6 positions as well. Fastest lap-wise, Prechek is a little bit quicker, but it's not about the fastest. It's about being consistent, ladies and gentlemen. And Sammy Hendricks, certainly he can see his teammate ahead of him. He is in the drafting range. Is he going to see a battle here for P3? Cairo Ends, he's not far behind as well. He's managed to pull in a little bit there, I'd say. Certainly Colin Bell has. The gap was about 4 seconds before. It's down to 2.5. Bell will be catching up to Cairo Ends. We're going to see another battle emerging shortly.
Yeah, this race progresses. We're 13 minutes into this 20-minute feature. We've got 3 cars, and looking back, we see Connor Bell lurching and trying to gain it, and it looks like he's going to close this gap down. It's just a matter of how many laps it's going to take before he joins his party.
It certainly, Connor Bell is indeed very potent indeed in that number 28 machine. There's a back view of Cairo Ends. You can see the rear wing there, the Almeida Racing League liveried car there, looking great as well. I've got to say, loving the paints this season. Obviously, the 14, the 30, the 19, and the 2 have the better paints indeed. You can work that out, ladies and gentlemen, on your own accord. But Connor Bell looking to try and make his way up, potentially onto the podium. Certainly, he's going to have to do a bit of hard work, getting a little bit loose there as he makes his way past the wall of champions, but certainly keeping that car on track and applying even more pressure as he makes his way onto lap 10.
Yeah, Connor Bell doing a fabulous job, but we expect that from him as the battle continues on ahead of him. But Connor Bell is making up himself basically 1 second a lap, so it's just a matter of time now, Zippy.
Yeah, but certainly, and you've seen it from me before, Richard, certainly, just because you're a fast lapper, well, that you've not seen from me, but you certainly see just because you can catch up to me does not mean that you will be able to find your way past us. I've got to admit, I think Richard's just muted himself so he doesn't absolutely wet himself laughing. I can hear my director absolutely having a hoot of a time. It seems to be, and it is self-deprecating humour at my expense seems to be a popular choice here, ladies and gentlemen. See Adam Meeker there in the number 16 making an absolute breeze of a pass there. That looked like it was very much given, actually, by Brian Lenz.
Yeah, Brian Lenz didn't put out any fight. I'd say not too much fight, but any fight. Just moving over, basically allowing the pass to happen. Pick it back up. Michael Prechek. Michael holding off Sammy Hendricks. Got about half a second lead on him. And looks like they're going to go battling these 2 blue cars all the way down the long straightaway leading into the 13-14 final corners of this track. Connor Bell, meanwhile, chomping at the bit. Connor Bell, now he's just a second back of Cairo Enns, closing that gap quickly down.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think what's going to happen here, are indeed going to see a four-way fight for third. That certainly seems to be the way this is going to emerge. As you can see, Michael Prechuk is very much under a little bit of pressure there. He seems to be a little bit closer than timing suggests, so I'm getting a little bit mixed up here. But Connor Bell's caught up to Enns. Hendricks is caught up to Prechuk. Are we going to see a four-way battle for third? That's certainly my prediction. You can see the huge cornering speed difference there. Cairo Enns definitely no slouch, but Bell, absolute dominating machine today at Montreal.
Well, gold doesn't mean you're going to come in 5th place. I think gold stands for first place, does it not, Zippy? We watch Connor Bell taking the curves perfectly, but unfortunately, there's really nowhere to pass in this section of the track unless you get really, really aggressive. Connor Bell, though, smart driver. As I say that, he's getting all over the back, applying a tremendous amounts of pressure. Cairo Enns having none of it, though, just maintaining his position, knowing if you're going to make a pass here, you're going to have to take some big risks.
Yeah, certainly he's making Bell work hard for that as they're making their way down towards the chicane. And his exit speed will indeed be compromised, but I do wonder if he can fight back a little bit longer. Certainly, I do believe that you do get some bonus points if you manage to hold off the coach. It certainly ends. Mike Sargent, you might have some competition here, buddy. As Cairo Enns definitely applying the pressure. If he wants to do it around the hairpin turn 10, he's going to have to really get his foot in it. And they're going to go side by side down the casino straight. Well, almost. Enns are able to get a great exit from there. And now here comes Bell as they're making their way towards the World Champions. Now, are we going to see a little bit of shuffling here? Enns is squeezed to the inside. They're both going to be offline very slightly. And there you go. Enns is going to be on the inside as they go down towards the brake zone. He's braked really late. He's going to shut the door on Bell. And you're going to see it here again, ladies and gentlemen. This is exactly what I'm on about. Enns able to hold on as they make their way over onto lap 12.
Yeah, he did a great job of holding off Connor Bell there, but unfortunately all that defensive driving just really dropped them back from a third position. Sammy Hendricks really pulling away from them as these two drivers have an intense battle. Cairo Enns doing a great job of holding off Connor Bell.
Speaking of which, though, I just got a cheer for Garrett Lund in Swelio's channel. Let's find out exactly what happened there, because he was running at the front of the pack up in P2. There he goes there into the chicane. Oh, no. Gets a little bit loose. Takes a bit too much curb. A little bit of a bump in the wall. Thankfully, the other cars were able to avoid him, but... Oh. That not as much, but that could be bad news there for Garrett Lund. He was setting to gain another podium, but he's now back into P6. As Cairo Enns, it's still fighting. Connor Bell really forcing the issue there. I mean, it was clean, but these guys using every single bit of available surface available to them. And Cairo Enns has been able to keep a nose in that battle as they make their way down to the hairpin. Fantastic defensive driving there. Almost as good as mine, as we're going to try and see an over-under there from Connor Bell in the number 28.
Yeah, Cairo Enns with a 2100 I rating, about the same as mine, doing a fabulous job of battling Connor Bell and keeping him at bay. But we're going to go back up near the front here. We've got Michael Prechuk, Sammy Hendrick, and they're just battling it, going too wide.
Oh, no! Friendly fire! Oh, dear, that is exactly what I was afraid was going to happen. Sorry, Rich. Oh, my gosh, did you just see that in the background?
I think
Collier just got launched.
Now.
We got an upside down. I believe that's Collier.
Yeah, he got up. He was sideways riding the wall like it was a skateboard, and the wall of death, and that was the end of that. Just nowhere to go, and wheel on wheel, up over, and good thing that they have the hoop bar there to protect the driver's head on that landing.
I figured that one is how do you like your ex? Because if it's the case of Simon Collier, sunny side up seems to be the way. But it's a shame there that the two, Sammy Hendricks and Michael Prechuk, getting caught into that incident there. Prechuk makes a rejoin. It looks like Simon Collier just ended up getting a little bit caught in that. You see Prechuk rejoins onto the racing line, and there's nothing Collier can do. He's along for the ride, and if that had been the Olympics, it's fair to say he would have indeed got a medal. He's not going to get a podium, but he would have got a medal for such incredible acrobatics there. As Cairo Enns in P3 now, still holding off the mighty Connor Bell.
Yeah, Cairo Enns continuing to impress, Zippy. I think we're both very impressed by what he's done. Connor Bell, no slouch. Looks like the student is doing a great job of holding off the coach. Connor Bell looking to the outside once again. This hasn't worked the last 3 times. Will it work this time? This time it looks like Connor Bell's going a little deeper, but Cairo Enns finally relinquishing the position, looking for a better exit. Looks like it's not to be. Connor Bell finally getting that move done.
Yeah, certainly he carried a little bit more speed there, was able to get the nose just far enough ahead. I think Enns could have really forced it if he wanted to, but it would have definitely been a sacrificial move by any means. But I've got to say, fair play to him, holding off Connor Bell behind him. Certainly, when I did get to race these guys, Connor I left the door wide open for, honestly. So I'm glad that Enns has been able to challenge him a little bit more here. As we see John Morandini getting a little bit loose there, going past the wall of champions.
Yeah, got a couple of tires up onto the curb, on the throttle a little early, and the back end came around as it will do in the F3 car. I believe we're on the last lap here, picking up with Amin Al-Shahi. Amin in 6th place right now, having himself a decent battle with Vijay Rajasekaran. Looks like Vijay is doing a good job despite earlier issues, holding in 7th place.
Well, right now, this is your race leader, ladies and gentlemen, and he's got about a 3.6-second lead. It's Andrew Calabrese. Again, another Team Green victory here at Montreal. Yeah, I know as broadcasters we shouldn't be biased, but realistically, I'm kind of apologising for it. I like British Racing Green. My Nana, she goes to watch the racing. She always cheers on the yellow car.
She's got some taste there, Zippy, unlike you. But congratulations, Andrew Calabrese. Nice job. A big victory. Big 7-second or 3-second victory over Sammy Hendricks in 2nd, and then Connor Bell in 3rd.
Oh, here we go. More action here. Vijay Rajasekaran able to get a move done on Amin Al-Shahi at the very end, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly was an aggressive move. Are we going to see Al-Shahi get taken again as Leon Benvelson, one of the crowd favourites, is coming down? He's got Brenton Hung ahead of him. My apologies. There in P10, able to get P11. As we have a look back, that was indeed the closest battle remaining in this race. But I've got to say, I kind of want to watch a replay of some of the action there. Certainly, Rob, I guess, pick something here while we see a couple more of these drivers cross the line.
Yeah, we had good battles here. Really nice racing. 3 races tonight, and we're going to pick it up watching Connor Bell battling along with Cairo Enns. Cairo getting props from the coach at the end of that race on his great driving, and these guys certainly gave us some good entertainment. Really proud of Cairo Enns doing a great job. Unfortunately, he couldn't hold the podium, but man, what some fantastic racing by Cairo, and great exhibition of skills, and being able to drive defensively against a much faster opponent.
Yeah, definitely. I think that was honestly the battle of the race from where I was sat. Battle of the session. There is the replay here of Vijay Rajasekaran making that move at the very end on Amin Al-Shahi. Just had such a great overspeed, very aggressive with the curb there. Pretty much took flight, ladies and gentlemen. Fair play. The wings are supposed to keep the car on the floor, not give it flight. But we should probably go over the results. We'll give these guys a few brief minutes to get here for an interview. Certainly Canadian Cutting Edge. This is, if you could drop a hint to everybody, certainly Connor Bell, we do need to get this show on the move and rolling. So if you are here for an interview, you need to, politely put, get on in there. As I see, we managed to steal one person, Connor Bell. But Connor, you're just going to have to hold on 1 second as we're going to go through the results here. As we see, first place, we got Andrew Calabrese with Sammy Hendricks, one of the rookie coaches, ladies and gentlemen. He took 2nd, a good result for him, able to climb 8 positions and gain that. Connor Bell, the one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, managed to take P3 despite starting from the pits with Cairo Enns. Honestly, if you exclude Connor Bell, he's a coach. Fair play to him. I mean, it's legitimate. Cairo Enns would be in 3rd, but certainly a good battle there for him. He got 4th with Garrett Lerner able to recover up to 5th. After that little incident earlier, Michael Pritchett got caught in. Vijay Rajasekaran took 6th with Amin Al-Shahi in 7th. Anthony Lanassa, head of cheerleading section as well, in 8th. With Mahid Rahman in 9th and Brenton Hung closing out your top 10.
Yeah, then we had Leon Benfelsen, crowd favorite, in 11th, followed by Sean Haggerty in 12th. Fernando Afonso, 13th, followed by Martin Visser in 14th. Matthias Kuhn in 15th, followed by Adam Mika in 16th. Brian Lentz in 17th, followed by John Marandini in 18th. John Jonkic in 19th, followed by Juan Miguel in 20th.
Have a look at 21st. Michael Pritchett, we saw him get caught up earlier on as a little bit of friendly fire, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly did not work out for him. Simon Collier, definitely the best acrobatics we've seen here today at Montreal. Kevin Adrian, took 23rd with Hayden Bramley 24th. Abdul Rahman Mahmood is in 25th. Odd man out on Twitch, I believe. Declan Marsden in 26th with Marsden Chacon. Certainly we saw him at the front of the pack earlier. Team Raccoon Racing getting in a good couple of podiums today. He was there in 27th with Yifan Chow in 28th. Kane Halliburton getting caught up earlier on in 29th. And a 30-car field, ladies and gentlemen. Joel Singleton, but we have managed to catch up. Actually, let's get both of these guys in here very quickly. Now, we don't exclusively interview podiums here, ladies and gentlemen. We do kind of want to mix it up a bit. Connor, if you want to unmute yourself as well. Cairo, certainly you had a hell of a battle there with Connor Bell. What was going through your mind when you saw the number 28 car right behind you?
Really, it was just position. It was all about making sure my car was exactly where I needed it to be at every point, and I had some good practice this week with defending, so I knew where I was strongest, and I just made absolutely sure that I capitalized on that as best I could, and it paid off, and it was a lot of fun battling with Connor. It was a great battle.
So Connor obviously is one of the coaches here at the Almeida Academy. How does it make you feel when you got a student right ahead of you, for lack of better words, doing a little bit of a Gandalf impersonation there with a "You shall not pass"? What was going through your mind while trying to make your way up onto P3?
Yeah, that was really impressive. Shout out Cairo. I didn't think going into the last lap that I'd get by, but managed to get it done. But yeah, Cairo was doing an excellent job at defending. Going into a lot of the chicanes here with the big curbs, I find being the outside car, just braking early and focusing on the exit was working pretty well for me. But Cairo was doing a good job at adapting and sort of slowing down and parking it on the apex a little bit more, so I couldn't do the over-under. So really some excellent stuff racing with Cairo today.
Yeah, definitely was the best battle we had, I believe. Certainly, well, it's the one I chose as the best battle for the session today. But Cairo, yourself, you had Canadian Cutting the Edge cheering you on in the chat, and definitely a good debut for you. While it may not have been the most podiums and stuff like that, you definitely did get certainly what I would say is the best battle. But tell us a little bit about your perspective here. You've obviously been a part of the academy for a little while. I'd love to hear your point of view about how that's been working out for you so far.
It's been working out amazingly. When I first came in, I was going into season 2 of the league races here. I was honestly a little bit surprised to make it as high as split 2. Battling through that, I had a great team, great support, and the workshops helped out so much. I developed my skills so consistently that towards the end of it, I actually ended up taking the win for split 2, and that was a little bit mind-boggling for me. That gave me the drive to really start pushing to get into split 1 for the next season. I got up there and I started battling with some of these faster drivers, and it just, something about battling with somebody faster than you, it just pushes you that little bit further. And I was able to just keep developing my skills. I may not be making huge leaps, but I made a lot of smaller ones, kept walking forward, kept making progress, and yeah, coming into this season, I'm not the best with high downforce cars. There's still something of a mystery to me, and I'm sure that showed in some of my lap times today, but slowly I'm getting there. It's a lot harder to keep this car on the limit, but that's what you need to learn. You need to challenge yourself. You need to keep pushing forward, and this season is doing nothing but that, and I have very high hopes for the rest of the season. It's going to be a very fun season.
Well, indeed, we have we almost have all 3 levels here right now of where you can be in the Almeida Racing League. So obviously we've got Cairo Enns, who's he managed to win a season in Split 2. Fair play to him. I definitely don't have that kind of talent. And then if we head almost to the middle, we have one of the aspiring coaches here. Sammy Hendricks has joined us in the booth. So Sammy, you was able to get a P2 as well, but sounds like you're in the middle step here. Obviously, we've got our seasoned coaches such as Connor Bell, Kane Halliburton, Brian Lockwood, and the such. And you're kind of in the middle of that at this point, able to get a P2. So tell us a little bit about how the junior coach title came to be. Tell us a little bit about your responsibilities here as well.
Oh, well, because I am such a noob, I feel like I'm in a great position to give great feedback, and I mean, this is all on the coaches, honestly. We're just here for the opportunity, learning I find that it's making me better in personal life too. The whole coaching thing, there's so much to it. You know, down the list from Brian, Connor, Kane, you know, even Julian and Hayden. I mean, these guys are rock solid coaches, and they all have input, and it's just really great working together as a team and trying to contribute any way you can, even if it's being a noob.
Well, certainly, I'm not going to fault you for that. And Sammy Hendricks, actually, when we first met in the Almeida Racing League, it was more sort of you as one of the big drivers behind getting your team. I believe it was Team Blue. Forgive me, it might have been Team White. My memory's not always the best, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly one of the big pushers in making sure that his team did very well. But at the top, I'd say at the top, one of the higher end of the food chain, we got Mr. Connor Bell. Connor, if you could summarize today, what would be your biggest advice for these drivers? And certainly as we make our way to the next round, which I believe is going to be Spa off the top of my head, any advice you'd give these drivers for their driving today, or indeed heading into Spa for next week?
Yeah, I think people made some really big steps forward today compared to some of the concerns that were brought up earlier in the week by some drivers. Overall, racing was decent. There's a couple big incidents caused by small mistakes, so it's mostly car control based stuff. So I'd say, people need to review all their basic limits and stuff like that. And then there was a couple of small incidents having to do with the overspeed and draft and braking a little bit too late when following cars, even when they're not trying to go for a pass. So just reviewing a few of those key things. And next week for Spa is going to be the endurance format as well. So we'll have a really long feature race, 40 minutes. That's going to require a pit stop. That should create some extra excitement for you guys here in the broadcast booth.
I'm definitely looking forward to it. But let's give a huge congratulations here to our P4 finisher, Mr. Cairo Enns, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly it was a hard-fought battle. To our P2 finisher, Mr. Sammy Hendricks, and indeed to our coach. Sorry, Connor, I'm going to leave you at the end here because it's kind of like taking a knife to a gunfight. Nope, backwards, like taking a gun to a knife fight. Certainly when you get some of these coaches involved as well. A huge thank you to all of you guys. We're going to politely kick you out of the booth at this point as we bring this show to a close. Definitely been a whoops. Bye, Connor.
Daniel.
Yes, Sammy.
I left out Abdul. He's a huge part of the workshop. Fantastic coach. I have early onset dementia. See you guys. Bye.
Ladies and Sammy Hendricks, I don't know about the dementia part. Maybe he's just a little bit senior like some of us, despite the fact I'm 34 years old, ladies and gentlemen. And you can tell me that in 5 years, but we probably should bring this show to a close. Richard, I feel like you've not had a chance to get much in here at the end of it. Some closing thoughts from yourself.
Well, we saw some great battling. We saw some great racing. I think Cairo Enns was my driver of the day. He did a great job battling with Connor Bell, holding off the coach as long as he could. I love F3. I love Sergei Gilles Villeneuve, and drivers put on some great racing tonight.
So, honestly, I couldn't agree more. Certainly my battle of the day, I feel like we've got our own little Cairo Enns fan club at this point. But you know what? For me, it's all about the battles, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get me wrong, it's great having outright pace, but I'm just not at that point. And I know these guys will 100% agree with that and put up a big banner if necessary saying that Zippy can't put in a good clean lap. But putting a clean lap, it's just measured in years, not minutes, ladies and gentlemen. But certainly, definitely a good fun race here at Montreal Circuit Jean Villeneuve. But that's just going to bring us to a close, ladies and gentlemen. I got to say that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. Huge thank you to my comrades here in the booth, Mr. Richard Swindells. We've got to give him a name. Rob, I'm sure you can think of something. Maybe Dyke. He's kind of put himself in the hot seat for that one.
Zippy.
Ladies, my name has been, and I guess always will be, Daniel Zippy Salmon. Joining me in the commentary side, it's been Richard Swindells, and at the production controls, Rob. Oh, we've got one actually, Richard Old Bear Swindells. I guess Rob's had an input on that one, and yet he's left out his own name, Mr. Rob the Goatee Campbell. Certainly, we got Rob hidden from camera today. I don't know why we should get him back in on the camera. He presents well, ladies and gentlemen. You could say he's a bit of a silver fox in his own right, but we're going to leave it to it, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly, we look forward to seeing you back next week, same time at Spa, the Almeida Racing League.
Good night.
Almeida Racing League is growing fast. Hundreds of drivers, multiple splits, broadcasted races, and it's not just about individual winning. It's a team championship. You race with your own squad, you learn how to compete, and you grow together. And we don't throw you into the races blindly. Every week, we help you prepare with pit parties to train side-by-side battles, workshops with live coaching, 20 driving challenges with full tutorials, and even group raids into official iRacing races after the league night. For just $25 a month, this is the most complete training experience in sim racing. Join us as a member today to start your advanced training and racing with us. I'll see you on track.